the space in which, how did he know about this as a student? Because I know that he had something to do with even this, because I have to give him a compliment that the first Biswa Meal festival that we did on campus, was conceived, was done in a fantastic manner by the secretary Ajay. So I know that he is interested in events, but how did this happen to you? If there are some people wanting to listen, how did you turn around the legal education into an entrepreneurial idea? Is that something which I want to hear from you? Because I think Unleashing India 2047 is about unleashing yourself, unleashing your own goals. So I want to hear from you as an entrepreneur.
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me on this panel. Such a privilege to be the part of this JGU community. To be honest, I was a law student, but the major thing which I learned in JGU was how to sell. Because more than in the class, what I learned at JGU is the people skill, because I was involved in few sports activities at volleyball court, and every day I used to go to Parisar office or Registrar office just to take approvals for the execution of the events. So over there I learned that how to sell, how to pitch in the concept, and that is what is still helping me a lot. When I initially started the event company, when I was in 4th year at JGU, I got few clients from Haryana and Delhi, and at that time I had really no idea that what I'm going to do. But it's with each and every step, it's how you do your homework, how you learn, how you take every step ahead with the learning and with the wisdom and with a lot of creativity which is coming up in the market. So now just to give you a very small example, sir, we in our organization, we have a policy of not hiring directly. We have a policy of taking a person as an intern. We will observe that person for 2 or 3 months and then we'll hire them. Now the major part of going through this process comes the reason that we just want to analyze the creativity inside a person. A day before yesterday, one of my teammates, I gave her a task that just write me a quote with regard to a certain decor. And she was using Chat GPT just to get a code for that particular decor. And I was impressed. I'm saying, what exactly are you doing? She says, it makes my work so easy. I just have to highlight few keywords and Chat GPT will give me the code and I'll just send it to you. I'm like, wow, in this 2022, things are so easy in the world of internet. Most of our teammates are either a CA from background. One of my teammates is an LLM student right now. So in the world of internet, I believe that we have so many opportunities that we can actually convince each and every person. We can sell our product, we can pitch in, we can generate good revenue, because in our market, while taking payment, मैं मिठाई का डब्बा और दुआएं साथ लेकर जाता हूँ, because I'm a wedding planner. So that selling of a product comes from an institution which I honestly learned from JGU. So I think in 2023 that is the most upmarking skill which you need to learn, and I think people skill and selling a product can take you to heights, can really help you in building any kind of organization you wish to build.
Thank you, Ajay. But he has planned hundreds of weddings, but मेरे को अभी तक wedding का मिठाई नहीं लाया. So just wanted to place it on record. So I hope on your wedding I will get a box of sweets. I hope.
Looking forward, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ajay. Let me ask Mayank. I'll come to Jidesh next. Mayank, you represent the banking sector today. You're at Digital Banking AU Small Finance Bank. I follow your bank very closely. It is one of the fast growing small banks in India. And I should also give a declaration here. I hold your shares. So let me ask this question, and it's very interesting for me to ask this question for many reasons. When we talk about, Sahni mentioned this beautifully, when we talk about Unleashing India 2047, our focus is largely on sectors which are growing. Our focus is largely on sectors which are contributing. Our focus is largely on sectors that are making money, because those are the sectors which is actually going to take India. But in this process, we are forgetting how many industries, the foundations on which India was actually being built, they're all slowly getting wounded up. Today, if you go and visit, like for example, Kanchipuram or Mysore silk sarees, we had a very interesting Karnataka soap factory, the Mysore sandal. People have, slowly these brands will not exist for the next generations to come. Similarly, I want to ask you in banking space, right? Do you think there's a threat to the very nature of the banking industry because of UPI and the digital, which is emerging like anything? Crypto was a threat. Let me be very honest. Crypto was a threat. Somehow, the story of crypto has slowly faded away. That's because of the lull in the economic. It's in that market. It's in the bear market. But the moment it comes back, crypto is going to be a very hot currency. So I'm asking you because how you're going to see yourself, how the banking industry is going to be in 2047. Already consolidation is happening. Many small banks have merged into bigger banks. And many banks are also, in US it has started, the slippery slope has started, are also getting closed because they are not able to run their business successfully. How do you see banking industry in 2047? Sorry for asking you a very long question, but I have to give you a gist before I ask you a question.
So thank you, Mukesh ji. And it's a question, not only a question, just a question, but it's also my future attached to it. So let me be honest about it.
Sorry, sir, it's a fireside chat, so I have to put you.
So I'll start with where Mr. Sahni has left. See, the first and the foremost thing we all should know that how Indian middle class is growing. Okay, and why I'm saying middle class? Because middle class is one particular class who has the maximum amount of deposits in the bank. Okay, they are the best customers in the bank. Why they are the best customers in the bank? Because they are the ones who give you money also and they take money from you. They are retail customers. So middle class, when we say middle class, it's people who earn more than 5 lakh rupees to 30 lakh rupees. And India, till 2013, it was hardly 13% people in this bracket. In 2023, it is 31%. In next 3 years, it will be 38%. So the way we are growing, the money, the earning strength of Indian population will grow. Whether it is due to the age, which sir has said that 29 years will be the age when we reach 2047. So your maximum hands will earn for you. Around, I would say, a large population will start earning for you. So when you earn, where you keep your money safe. Like today also, I'll give you a small example. We have marriages at our home. Ajay must be planning a lot of marriages, no? Suppose I am going to marry my daughter or son tomorrow and the marriage is at home. Do we fear that tomorrow I go to a bank and I will not get the money to pay to Ajay? I don't have that fear. Do I know anybody in the bank? I do not know anybody in the bank. Do you know the branch manager? No. Do you know the cashier? No. You have trusted upon an institution. This institution has built trust over 100 years of existence. So we don't fear keeping our things in the bank. We don't fear keeping our money in the bank. We don't fear. And India is a country where people save. People keep their money with safety. They want to keep their money with safety. Yes, that doesn't mean that banks do not have to change. The banks have to definitely change their approach. They have to come with certain things which are more customer-centric focused. They cannot rely just upon the traditional conservative approach which they have always followed with the customers. They cannot do that. A small example I'll give you. When we borrow money from the bank, we pay interest every month. Okay? And when you deposit the money in the bank, you get interest after 3 months or 6 months. So this approach has to be changed. And I'm proudly saying on this dais that we are the first banks who have brought this change in the country. We were the ones who have started paying interest every day. Every daily basis we pay, and on a month end you get the credit of your interest. So this change has to come. Change has to come. You go to a restaurant, you have food, and later you pay your bill. But when you go to a bank, you first fill the deposit slip and then you deposit the money. Why? This approach has to be changed. You cannot do this. You have to go and order a banker that this is what I want. This approach has to be changed. I am sure bankers are working on it. Indian banking system is quite strong. We have one of the finest banking system across the globe. We follow all the international norms, whether it is Basel norms, whether it is Swiss norms, whatever you call it in different forms. I don't see a threat. I see an Indian banking system must grow. Yes, the way maybe the brick and mortar models will go away, more digital models will come. You feel more secure doing an UPI or a credit card transaction or a debit card transaction, a digital transaction, which maybe some people have fear as of now. But yes, with the securities, cyber securities coming in a more established manner in India, I don't see a threat to the Indian banking system.
Thank you. Thank you. Very well said, ma'am. Let me go to Jidesh. Jidesh, I have to ask you the most difficult question because the last question is going to be the most difficult. I'm just joking. So, you are a CEO. You are a founder and a CEO, right? So you would have had tremendous challenges as you have built what you start, right? I want to narrate a story to you, and this is my own, analysis. Look at the Indian cricket team, right? Everybody who sponsored the Indian cricket team, in next 3-4 years, that company has wound up. Let's start from Sahara. You all know, they were the first sponsors of the Indian cricket team. Then was Star, right? They don't exist. After that, Byju's, right? We know what's happening to Byju's, right? And I think, who's the recent one? Make My Trip. No, what is that? Dream 11, right? Now, the reason I'm asking you this question is, as a CEO, as the head of the organization, if you're not getting your financial decisions right, your company is not going to sustain in the long run. Now, having said that, how you go about making decisions, because go and do this research, guys, I'm not joking. Go and look at BCCI and look at all the sponsors who have sponsored BCCI. After they have done the sponsorship, in the next 3-4 years, the company has wound it up. I'm not joking. That means to say that the people who have taken decision that they want to sponsor, they might have taken decision without applying their brains as to, it all is economics of scale, right? It's not at the end of the day, FMCG company that I can transfer the price on the customers. Tell me as a founder and CEO, right? Every day you would have to sign a check. Every day you have to take a financial decision. Unleashing India 2047 is not just about building fresh capital. It is also maintaining the existing capital and building a successful business on that capital. I want to hear from you because you're a founder and a CEO of a company. Thank you.
That's a very interesting and important question, I believe, from an entrepreneurial perspective. Anybody thinking of getting into business, anybody already in business, it's really crucial to think from a fiscal, discipline-oriented perspective. My first startup, that was where I was coming out from a space in a corporate job, working in New York and in Australia. One of the biggest companies in the world. Every project has a minimum $1 million budget. You think in terms of fiscal responsibility. It's not about, hey, we've got the money, let's spend it. A lot of decision-making process should be around frameworks, around discipline, asking crucial questions. What am I doing? What is going to deliver me? Is it practical? Is it feasible? What's the ROI going to be? If we kind of use these as a barometer for testing each decision, it really changes one's thought process eventually. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be about personal experiences. When I transitioned into my first startup, everything was smooth. But in business, everything will not be smooth all the time. So the first time I encountered that downturn in liquidity, that was a really humbling moment. Why? Because it was not about me, my finances, but I was looking at my team. We were still pretty small at that time, about 10 or 12 people. But I saw myself as responsible to those people, their families, they're depending on me. And that's when we made a quick pivot, made some short-term decisions which helped infuse funds into the company. And since then, happy to say, those are the first, I think, 6 months of my startup journey. Happy to say, since then, in that venture, we did not face that situation. I think it's really important to keep in mind who we are responsible to, whether it's our own selves, our families, our employees, their families, the community in general. I think that sphere widens as our scope of work increases, as people dependent on us increase in numbers. So that discipline, I think, is really important. Following a framework is important. I'm from a marketing background. As marketing people, how many of you are from marketing background here? Just one? Marketing is a crazy field, right? You give a marketing guy a free hand, what do you want to do to promote your brand? The first thing he says, I want to put the banner on the moon. The world will see it. Fair enough, the world will see it. What, is it practical? Is it feasible? How much is it going to cost? What's the ROI going to be? Things like that. So these are all frameworks. If you follow those, the differences between productive fire and destructive fire. A jungle wildfire which is burning like in Hawaii right now, that's also a fire. The fire inside our car engine, that's the same fire contained in a framework of the engine. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jitesh. Let me quickly go to Purva, and then I'll reverse the round, and this will be the last questions, and probably with this response you can also give your closing remarks. The question to you is 2047. Do you think we'll have an AI, like a chat GPT, replacing the entire HR community? Because my question is, it's already doing it in terms of certain aspects of HR. 2047, do you see HR as a domain, or do you think it's going to change, or it's going to take a different avatar? It's a related question. And what is the threat of AI?
Interesting. I 100% believe that HR is going to stay, because wherever humans and emotions are involved, you need people, and it's a gray zone. So it's something that, machines and AI would definitely be able to help you with, but cannot replace you. So definitely the nature of the jobs are changing, and HR folks are supposed to, and in fact they already are, all of us are. So these days when I'm supposed to, draft something which I want to inspire people with, I give the right prompts. It's all about prompt engineering. You would have been familiar with the terms now. So it's just going to be, all of us are going to get smarter and better. The mundane tasks, the things that would have taken like hours, and I'll tell you one live example. I had to create the POSH policy. Usually for HR, if you have to do something like this, there's a lot of research, etc. and stuff. Prompt ChatGPT the right way, they'll give you the best POSH policies, right? This is just one example. However, when we have 3 founders and they are thinking differently and they have to take people decisions, do you think AI will be able to do that? The answer definitely is no, right? So we'll be doing more of such work, and definitely all of us are still going to be there.
How many of you agree to that? Okay. How many of you disagree to that? Nobody wants to say, don't worry, I know you all represent the HR community, your jobs are safe. It's a fireside chat, we've got to make it really healthier. Maybe, I disagree. we'll have a one-to-one.
Sure,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Closing remarks, please.
Closing remarks would be just make AI your friend. That's how I address all the youngsters in the group as well. I mean, you can't survive without it, but you can definitely be very better with it. So would leave you with that.
So that means she doesn't want to have any conversations with me. Very clear. Thank you. Okay, I will go to Garima. I know you have a small baby, so you go take care of her. What is your message for people like you, who's a mother, who's a business head? What should they focus? How do you think the next 20 years of your organization, your company, real estate business, what is your vision and what are the important aspects? Because your vision is aligned with Unleashing India 2047 vision. So I want to hear your story, what it is going to be, what are your plans, what are you thinking, what is your journey going to be, and what could be the challenges. So I want to hear from you.
So, thank you again for your question, sir. My remarks on that would be that coming from the private sector, I truly believe the private sector has a great role to play when it comes to unleashing India for 2047, as we are the people who know what workforce is going to be needed. So when we work in alignment with the government, we know that okay, these are the skills that will be needed in the future, and this is something that we can really focus on and to fill that gap, that upcoming gap. One more thing that I would like to emphasize is that, juggling things as a mother and being heading a vertical for the HR and compliance in my organization as well. So there is something which is very, very fundamental in my organization, which is that we are a strictly core value driven company. We have 5 core values, which are being nature friendly, spreading positivity, being innovative, and being positive, putting our ethics first. So these are our guiding principles, and I feel when you stick to them, your way forward becomes easy. Because when you become innovative, you'll automatically start working on the path of again unleashing India. When you become nature friendly, we know global warming has ended now, and now it's just melting. So again, you help out there. So I feel like these are some fundamental things that if we all stick by to, if we all have our own set of principles that we stick by to, whether we talk about business or whether we talk about personal life, so whether professional or personal, I feel that we can definitely go ahead and make this dream come true and unleash India in the best way possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jitesh, come back to you quickly now, and with a question I wanted you to respond. You beautifully articulated that you are a marketing person, and that actually helped you to turn those skills and become an entrepreneur, right? So you had some acquired skills. But today, if you talk about this generation, right, at the World Economic Forum 2023, one full panel was dedicated to skills. We're talking about that as the 21st century skills, right? And it is not necessary that every education institution, every person who is already being employed is having those skills. But if we've got to be looking futuristically speaking, be it collaborative or creative thinking or analytical skills or design thinking or problem solving or communication skills, these are going to drive, how quickly the company can multiply the money, and how quickly the company can grow. What is your collaboration? How are you going to upskill your existing workforce? And similarly, how can you collaborate with institutions and universities where, what you really want, is it tried and tested? I want to understand institution and industry interface here, and what are your plans and how you plan to upskill your existing workforce, because that is really going to be crucial. It's not necessary, be it technical acumen, be it skilling, reskilling, upskilling, or be it, how you create diversity and inclusivity. I think these are going to be very important aspects. As a CEO, what are your ideas, views? I really want to know your strategy too for the future.
Another interesting question. Well, I see skills as two different sets. One is a kind of skill which happens through knowledge transfer, training, and practice. The other is soft skills. This cannot really be taught, and especially not so overnight. It takes time, it takes a mindset, it takes a lifestyle. So I think it's really important to focus both on the functional skills as well as the soft skills. From a company's point of view, it is important to definitely find skills and find people with those skills, train them further, work with them. However, a lot of people, I read a statistic somewhere where, I don't know how accurate it is, but it does speak in terms of the sentiment. About 90% of India's engineers are unemployable. Why? Because, first of all, level of skills is subpar. Secondly, soft skills, whether it's communication skills, and by that I don't mean knowledge of English. Fluency in one language over another is not a sign of superior intelligence, but effectively being, in any language, being able to communicate what's here and transfer it to the other person's mind. So I would definitely urge the academia also to take the lead during their curriculum years and inculcate an environment where it's not just about learning, but it's also about absorbing, whether it's behavioral traits, whether it is common courtesy, communication skills, body language, expressions. There's so much which makes a person with, or rather two individuals with the same skill set. That's what's going to make, the soft skills is what's going to make the difference between who is more employable and who has more chances of growth. I think the balance of those two.
Okay, thank you. Closing remarks?
I think, I mean, I pretty much, you know, we've talked about a lot of different things, but we did touch upon entrepreneurship. There's one thing which I would really like to put it out there for all aspiring entrepreneurs who are starting out or about to start out. Don't follow an idea. I mentor a lot of startups and founders, and the one thing which I come across is, hey, I've got a phenomenal idea. It's going to work. And then they become withdrawn into a shell, and they don't want to share it because they're afraid somebody will steal their idea. As an entrepreneur, that's your ambition. Let the ideas flow. I mean, we all get at least 3 brilliant ideas during the course of the day. Ideas have no value. Nobody's going to invest in an idea. It's really about, first of all, your vision, your planning, your team, and your execution. So I think that's what I would like to leave with the audience. Think beyond the idea and think towards what you can do with it, and share it, talk about it. The more people criticize you, the more you tell them about your idea, because they're helping you. It's a brutal world. Your investors, bankers.
Yeah, it's a brutal world. Bankers don't give money.
But if you have somebody brutal on your inside, shooting your ideas down, you know exactly where to patch up and make them bulletproof. Share your ideas, talk about them.
Thank you. I already provoked my answer. I'm coming to you. There is a cycle for banking industry. Cycle is every 15 years, the banking cycle goes down. The NPA increases. You check from 1947 till date, every 15 years, the banks have accumulated NPAs, which has led to the economic growth and which has also led to, I would say India always has a recession when the markets collapses, right? When the share market goes down, we see that Indian people are not able to make money, right? We are now at the realm of raising. The banking sector is on the raise, right? I can very